Wayne, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm excited with what we're going to talk about today, about some cool photography stuff and the benefits for it. But first, how
Yeah.
you doing? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Tanner. It's an honor to be on here with you. So my name is Wayne Helm. I own a franchise called Homadi, and at Homadi we provide real estate agents with the media needed to promote or market their listings.
Awesome. Is Homadi a like national brand? And are you the only one with a franchise here in Colorado?
So it is a national brand. I think we just got into Canada too. I'm not 100%
Oh,
sure.
cool.
But I believe we're in like 30 or 35 states. And yes, there's actually another franchise in Colorado Springs with me. And then there's two up in Weld and Larimer County. And I believe there is one in Durango. I'm not sure if he's still active or not.
Gotcha. So you guys focus on doing the photography for any type of like real estate. Is it pretty broad, or do you focus on one specific niche?
Yeah, so I started doing more when I first started my franchise in 2020. I was doing mostly just residential real estate, and then I ventured into some more commercial. So that's been kind of a nice little niche that way. But lately, I've been doing more with property managers and promoting rentals, short-term and long-term rentals.
hmm
So
Awesome.
I do basically everything that
hmm
an agent needs me to do.
Yeah. An agent or an investor too, if you're doing
Yeah,
rentals. So tell us a
definitely.
little bit about the benefits of getting photos done for selling a home or even renting a home.
You know, back just 5 years ago, people could probably take photos with their cell phone or whatever camera they might have and upload them to the internet. With doing what we do now with the technology that we have and the training that we have, I just think it's so important for anybody that has, whether you're an investor, whether you're a short, long-term rental property manager, whether you're a real estate agent, I think it's important to be able to tell a story of that property, um, how inviting it is, what are the amenities, what's the call outs, and sometimes I think it's really important to have a professional photographer to help kind of call out those points.
hmm And people love hearing stories too. People love listening to podcasts, reading books, and I
Yeah.
think if you do tell a home story, especially with the local, like the life you're going to be living in this property, and it'll definitely go a long ways for a prospective home buyer or prospective tenant that may be looking to rent out your property. Mhm.
100%.
And I still see people posting with their phones, taking stuff. I mean, you can do okay with an iPhone nowadays, but when it's like a home listing, it's like, ah, come on. Like, you can't even tell anything about what's going on. It's bad lighting, and you can't really see like the home's layout very well.
We there's a thing called composition, and us photographers, we live by it, and so a lot of that goes into play of how good the photos look. And when you're doing with your cell phone, you're just kind of you're missing some of that. And we also work with editors, so either I can edit my own photos or I have outside sourcing of my photos to be edited. And that's again where a lot of the magic happens.
hmm When you're doing editing, is it like a certain preset that you do for all the photos, or does it change based off of landscape lighting, all
It
that stuff?
yeah, it changes with the outdoor lighting, indoor lighting, if it's fluorescent, if it's warm lighting, if it's cool lighting, if it's LED lighting, all of that plays into effect.
hmm And do you use drones as well to capture like the overall landscape of the property?
Yeah, drones have really come into play really, really big time in the last handful of years. 3, 4 years ago, you've hardly even seen a drone. Now, even in my neighborhood that I live in, it seems like every couple of weeks somebody's got a drone flying up,
Yeah.
hobbyist or whatever. But yeah, it's important, especially in Colorado with all of the beautiful scenery we have, to be able to capture that and to kind of give you a setting of where that property is at.
It's almost standard nowadays. Like if you're not getting that drone shot of like the whole overall property to kind of see the mountain view you're going to have, what's kind of in the area as well, then yeah, you're kind of like not going to be as seen. People aren't going to want to come and see the home at the end of the day.
Definitely, definitely.
Mhm.
Getting good neighborhood shots, that's important, and maybe, like, if you're in Cordera or if you're in Banning Lewis, you wanna see, where the pool's at, where's all the parks at, and maybe in reference to where your house is, so
Mhm. Do you
it's
ever do
important.
any type of like neighborhood shoots of like, yeah, this property is in Cordera, but we're also going to get a snapshot of the community park or the rec center that is with and involved with the HOA?
Yeah, definitely, so I have a bank of photos, actually.
Mm,
So
mhm,
if I'm in whatever said neighborhood, I can go into that file and I can upload those with the listing
mhm.
folder, to the agent. They appreciate that.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Do you How often do you go and like take new photos of that? Like if you're have a property near Garden of the Gods, is it like I feel like it might be kind of fun to shoot the landscape of Colorado, especially off the Front Range right there. It's got to be pretty cool. Do you ever retake those photos just for fun or?
Yeah, every couple of years, I think you need to refresh them because trees grow, trees die,
Mhm.
houses change colors, whatever. Yeah, and then I found it important to maybe even get a winter scene this time of year.
Mm,
It'd be nice to have some
yeah.
winter, but some people also want to see what the neighborhood looks like with the foliage and everything else that's going on.
Yeah. So where do you see with how media is changing, where it's kind of leading towards home selling, home buying, and what we need to do with our photos and even videos nowadays with social media?
That's a good question. It's really, back during COVID, the 3D tours just exploded.
Mhm,
And so everybody needed to have a 3D tour of the house. And you didn't have to actually go into the property to look at it, and you could still walk around. You could get a feel for the layout. Now, in the last couple months, video walkthroughs, whether the social media reels or shorts or TikToks, they have just exploded off the charts. And also now we offer a landscape, more of a cinematic type, a higher quality video, and that
mhm,
is also picking up some steam. So the 3D tours are kind of, wavering a little bit. They're still
mhm,
important and they still have their place, because in Colorado we have a ton of people moving from out of state, and so
mhm,
the 3D tours are important, but the video really helps tell another story of the house.
mhm. Yeah. And you do all the editing for that as well, because I know that the editing can be tricky, and I feel like that's why a lot of people don't do that, is the editing portion. And if it's not looking that great, maybe they're like, "Yeah, this won't help anyone," or only if they ask
I
for
u-
a video.
I used to, but I just can't keep up.
Mhm,
And so I have three different video editors that I use. I have two different photo editors that I use. So depending on what video I'm cutting or what house I'm shooting, that's where the clips and the photos go to be edited.
yeah. And you do multiple sets of videos that can be used for social media, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Because
Definitely.
if it's like how social media kind of works is you can post one video up there, but then if you're not getting that reoccurring, like, oh, here's another angle of this house or a different angle of this house over here for multiple people to kind of get that traction going when you're trying to sell or rent a house, I feel like you won't get much of the people that are moving to Colorado to see your property
Yeah.
unless it's linked to like a Zillow or a Redfin or something like that.
Right. Um, yeah. So we, I'll cut like a minute and a half video,
Mhm,
whether it's a portrait or landscape mode, whatever. But out of that, the agent can pick maybe 15-second little blurbs of maybe the backyard or the outdoor kitchen, or if there happens to be a pool, they can highlight certain aspects and play that video, market that listing throughout the week with different clips. Yeah.
okay. And do you typically request or do you offer staging for any videos or photos that you do? And do you see that it's beneficial, or is that something that you could kind of skip out on in order to save some money?
I offer virtual staging, But what I find out is that somebody looks at the photos or the videos and they're, well, I should say photos because I can't virtually stage a video.
Mhm,
But if the photos are virtually staged and when somebody goes to look at the house, it's empty and dark. So I do recommend if the house is vacant to have it staged. I think it's
mhm,
well worth your money to do so. And the stagers in Colorado Springs, some of the ones, there's numerous ones, but they're very talented at what they do, and they know the color schemes. They know what's what's going to draw attention. They know what's going to pop in a certain room. And so I think the virtual stagers are the actual stagers are a huge benefit. And it does help the videos and it helps the photos. It just makes everything look a little bit better. I have had some homes that are occupied and the stagers will come in and kind of help declutter or maybe hang some depersonalize the walls a little bit and hang some, brighter colors or whatever. And it really does help market the home.
mhm, yeah. When do you ever do any photos for, like, an Airbnb or short-term rentals?
I have. I've done a lot of them. I've more. s- I've done a bunch in Colorado Springs, but I've also done a bunch in like Florissant.
Mhm,
There's a company up there that has 24 different Airbnbs, and I shot all of theirs for their own website.
mhm,
I think a lot of people are trying to draw, if they can, try to draw the customers to their own personal website instead of Airbnb. They
mhm,
tend to make a little bit more money, I think. I'm not really 100% sure on that, but
mhm,
um, people are starting to get a little bit more aggressive on their marketing for Airbnbs.
mhm,
That's for sure.
yeah, and I think with Airbnbs, you definitely need to have that not just staging, but the professional designer aspect to help, and then with combined with the photos to make stuff pop. Because when you're kind of scrolling through, looking at all the Airbnbs, that photo is what you're gonna see first. And it's like that has
Mhm.
to catch your eye. And so it's kind of like a combo of how good of a photo we can get to display here, and with the design of getting something that pops and stands out and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you're absolutely right. I've even done a couple of walkthrough videos for Airbnbs so that they
Mhm,
can post those, or if somebody's looking to come in on vacation, is there something a little bit more detailed that they can send the potential customer? So it's helped out.
mhm. Yeah. So what would you say for um, adding this to someone's marketing for an investor with a rental or an agent that's looking to market a home for sale? What should they expect for cost wise, and for how much it does cost? What do you think the return is overall for the benefit of having professional photos done?
That's a good question. I think the cost from photographer to media company to media, you're going to find a wide range of costs. Um, so, like my videos are a minute long and they're 150 bucks, whether you're doing a reels or you're doing a landscape video. Um, so if you take a look at what you're using them for, if it's an Airbnb, that video can be in your file for 2 years. How many people are seeing it? How many views? And if you want to do some promoting on social media, your reach with those, I mean, for 150 bucks, I think it's a pretty low investment to help
Hmm.
market your property and to stand out from every other Airbnb that has taken photos with their cell phone.
Hmm.
So it's hard for me to calculate the return.
Yeah.
It depends on the occupancy. And I think that we're starting to see a change in the trend where short-term rentals or even long-term rentals are tweaking their marketing, and we're starting to see a change where they're getting a little bit more aggressive, where the rents are, they're getting up there. So I think in order to really draw in a good qualified customer, um, I I think you got to step outside the box and do something a little bit more creative.
Hmm. Do you ever see where if it's like a higher quality type home, like if it's over 700,000, that they agents will typically do like a higher package for how many photos they get done doing videos compared to if it's like a small little condo or townhome in the Springs area where maybe it's only 350,000 where it's like, yeah, we just need photos, we don't need to do the whole video and everything for this option.
Yeah, I did a condo yesterday in Denver, small little two bedroom, and she did everything, social media video
Hmm.
for real. She did a landscape video, she did the drone video, she did photo package, 3D tour, floor. I mean,
Hmm.
she went all out. Um, so, and I believe the condo is going to be around the mid fours, maybe low fours.
Hmm.
So, she spent the money because I, she just wanted to make sure she could market it.
Hmm.
Is it, do you want to do a lesser value or a lesser marketing package on a lower quality home? I don't know. Maybe I still recommend a drone video and photos for sure, if not at least a 3D tour. The drone video still, I think, is important to show the neighborhood and the size of the yard and what the potential of the listing is. Um, and if you have a multi-million dollar home, yeah, I think you should be spending the money on everything to get that home marketed. Those sellers, um, they expect it, I think.
Hmm.
I know I would if I had that kind of a home. And even the buyers that are coming in, you want to be able to attract the best potential buyer that you
Hmm.
can, and you're going to have to showcase that listing.
Yeah. And for those higher price point properties, some of those people live out of state and they're just coming. And so trying to catch their eye, it's just back to like what we said about short-term rentals. You got to be able to catch their eye when they're just scrolling through and having that best
Yeah,
photo as the first one. And even staging at that point is very crucial.
yeah, it is. It
Do
is.
you do floor plans as well? Is that an offer in your services? Or?
So yeah, we offer floor plans with measurements on it's in all of my packages. So I have a platinum package, a gold package, and a silver package, and all of them have floor plans. So I think it's important to have a floor plan because people can start kind of measuring up their furniture. Does it fit in here? Does it fit in this living room? Is the TV going to fit over the fire? Whatever.
Mhm.
So it gives the buyer a really good feel for the house and the layout.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I think floor plans, a lot of people are just like, okay, like we got lost in the photos. What's like the layout here? Okay, we have two bedrooms here, and then this is the basement. This is what it's like here, and they can see it a little bit better. And definitely helps out
Hmm.
with making a decision on should we make an offer for this property? Should we not make an offer for this property?
Definitely,
Hmm.
definitely. I do
Is
also offer a Zillow 3D tour and floor plan.
okay.
And,
Hmm.
so with that, um, it's the floor plan is interactive. Actually, with my other floor plan, it can be interactive too.
Hmm.
So an interactive floor plan where you can click on the little dot and it'll
Uh-huh.
bring up a photo of where the camera's setting. And so you can kind of see what the
Hmm.
room looks from that perspective of that area in the room.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. I see a lot of inspectors have these like it's like a little tripod that does like a 360 view type thing.
Mhm.
Do you use those for getting that like 3D walkthrough type thing, or how is that? What type of cameras are you using for those?
So I started out using a Matterport camera, which was really
Hmm.
big and bulky, and it took forever
Hmm.
to do a 3D tour and a floor plan of a house. So I think it was maybe even 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, we
Hmm.
switched to a Ricoh Theta X, and that shoots in 11K in high dynamic range. And so that one takes a 360 photo right now, and then I can move it to the
Hmm.
next spot instead of
Okay.
with the Matterport. So I've really sped up my process there.
Hmm.
But we have at Home Audio, we have our own proprietary app that we can do our 3D tours with and our uploads.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the benefit about being part of a franchise is you have a lot of cool stuff that you get to use.
Hmm. Gotcha. When you mentioned your app, does that are you also able to like almost create a website for a per listing? Say like this address, here's all the photos, and then here's if you want to check out the video is here as well, and here's the floor plan and the 3D walkthrough and all that.
Yeah, so my dashboard, each one of my customers for every listing that they've ever had me go to, it lives on their dashboard. And
Okay.
so I have a dashboard, each agent has a dashboard. All the listings then has what we call like a microsite, and they
Hmm.
live in there. So
Hmm.
let's say uh, the agent is out to lunch with somebody and they go, "Hey, I'm looking for a listing here." The agent might have that. They can go in on their phone or their
Mhm.
tablet and bring up the listing, and they'll have all the photos, the floor plans, the 3D tours, the videos, everything. And
Mhm.
even in my dashboard, an agent can make brochures, trifolds, they can do whatever
Mhm.
for open houses or to
Oh,
pass
okay.
out, whatever. So there's a lot of things they can do within my dashboard.
Mhm. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, because whenever I've done like flyers for open houses and stuff like that, it's always tricky figuring out how to like get that preset and in order to print it and everything in order to
Hmm.
give it out as marketing materials, or even if you're just going for the trifolds to drop them off around neighbors' houses.
Yep.
And so that's an awesome little benefit there as well.
Yeah. And ours are customizable. So if this agent has this color scheme that they use, they can make the brochures for that color. Another
Hmm.
color scheme, they can do that. So it's
Hmm.
pretty versatile.
Yeah. Awesome. So basically, throughout what we've been talking about, the biggest takeaway is that you should definitely get photos done because it helps out your ideal buyer or ideal renter in finding your property and being able to make a better choice on, yes, I will take this one because you helped me see that I can live in this property. Is there anything else that you think we should touch on or add into a key takeaway?
I think just standing out in a crowd, there's what, 5,000 agents in El Paso County, maybe more, maybe less.
Mhm.
Um, what are you going to do to stand out against all the other competition? And whether you use me or use professional photography and videography, that's just, I think it's so important. You see a lot of uh, successful agents doing a lot of stuff on social media, and it's not always about the listing. It's about themselves, or it's about their neighborhood, or it's about some local restaurant. Bring your photographer with, or bring your videographer with, and film that stuff. Do what others, not a lot of others are doing. Stand
Mhm.
out.
Mhm. Awesome. If anyone wants to reach out about getting photos done or has any questions for you, where can they find you?
Um, well, I have a personal Facebook page that I found it easier to connect with people than a business page. So my Facebook is Wayne Helm. You can search me and friend me, whatever, message me on there. My cell phone is 719-357-5273. You can call me, text me anytime. Um, if you want to email me, it's Wayne at homadi186.com. Email me. I share my links with whoever wants to look at my pricing. I'm an open book. I don't hide anything. So whatever they want.
Mhm. Awesome. Sweet. Well, thank you so much, Wayne. I appreciate it and you taking your time and giving us a lot of good information there.